Let's talk about question 1A that appeared in the June 2025 exam paper in the subject Digital Marketing as examined by the Zambia Institute of Marketing. In particular, this was under the Diploma in Marketing, question 1A. What that particular question required was for students to explain the factors to consider when choosing a domain name. The question required students to explain the factors to consider when choosing a domain name, and this was worth 10 marks. You may wish to remember that a domain name is the web address for an organization. For example, google.com. Another example, znbc.co.zm. Those are domain names, and there is a slight difference between a domain name and a uniform resource locator, URL. There is a slight difference between a domain name and a uniform resource locator, but that is not the focus of this question. The focus of this question was for students to explain the factors to consider when choosing a domain name. There are a number of factors which include, number one, that the domain name must be descriptive. Just by reading or seeing what the domain name is, a person must have an idea of what to expect. Why? Because the domain name could be the name of the organization, an abbreviation of the name of the organization, like for example, znbc.com. If it is a full name, for example, it could be kachanana.com, or it could be the name of a product, for example, Diploma in Marketing.co.zm. So one of the factors to consider when selecting a domain name is that the name must be descriptive. Number two, the name must be short. The domain name must be short. This is good practice. It does not have to be short per se, but short is best. Why? Because it's easy for the person to remember and convenient for them to type. A name like I love the product made by butter because it's good.com is too long. However, a name like Captain 37 is short and memorable. This is also another factor a student would have noted down, or a factor that needs to be considered when selecting a domain name. Number three, consider using an extension that's applicable to the region. This comes in handy for organizations that want to align themselves to a particular region, and therefore their website, for example, could be ngo.co.zm. By using .zm, the organization is creating credibility within that particular region. Not only that, because other stakeholders may want to deal with organizations that relate or deal with issues in that particular region. And therefore, it is worthwhile, where need be, to also consider using a top-level domain which is geographically specific. What is referred to as .za for South Africa, for example, .zm for Zambia, that is what is a top-level domain. In choosing or selecting a domain name, an organization may consider using a top-level domain that is relative or applicable to a particular region. Number four, avoid the use of numbers. Numbers can be confusing. For example, for someone who may not know and they hear of Captain 37, they would not be sure whether the 37 is a number or 37 is typed as letters or words. What is it? Time for you. Is the 4 F-O-U-R or F-O-R or the number 4? You must avoid as much as possible domain names that are likely to be confusing. And this most likely would apply to domain names with numbers and domain names with hyphens. Number 5, do not use words that may be offensive. For example, the N word, or for example, the F word, or for example, the B word. It is culturally unacceptable, also unprofessional. Whilst it may be attractive, it can be repelled and frowned upon when you use words that are offensive. So these 5 are some of the factors that a student may need to take into consideration when selecting a domain name. Number 1, it must be descriptive. Number 2, it must be short. Number 3, consider using top-level domains. Number 4, avoid the use of numbers or hyphens, or both numbers and hyphens. And number 5, do not use words that may be offensive. I sincerely hope that you found this presentation helpful. My name is Savoy, and I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Captain 37. The 3 and the 7 are numbers, Captain 37. I also invite you to follow and like my Facebook page, Marketing Study in Zambia. And should you need assistance in your studies, feel free to get in touch with me. Goodbye.